let me show you my career track here and explain to you further how I actually moved out from the research career into the corporate role. Right. So first of all, I started as a research assistant. Every one of us here, when we, studying postgraduate degrees, will be, hired as the research assistant. So that will be my first lab-based jobs, right? And after I finished my master's, right, I joined a private university in Malaysia as a lecturer, and I think I teach for 5 years, right? I teach. I have a lot of paperwork. I need to, apply grants to do research, right? I need to supervise students for their final years projects. So no different than any other academician's job role in Malaysia. And after that, I think I should, change my career platform, my career track. I think I should try something new. And it came to an opportunity that there's an openings for the acquisition manager in journal publishing company. Therefore, I joined there, right? And I learned all sort of, journal publishings, open access, dealing with the editorial board members, call for papers, right? How to apply for indexing. I learned a lot there, to be honest, right? Although it was just a small startup company, a small startup journal publishing company. And thereafter, I moved to the sister company of this journal publishing company as the R&D managers, where I managing, the research project, the research collaboration projects of several countries. And thereafter, I got headhunted, right, by Elsevier, and I'm now in my 3rd or 4th year in Elsevier, right? So I was started as a solution consultant, just specifically focusing on SciDirect ebooks. And starting from the beginning of this year, I got my portfolio expanded as the platform consultant that covering e-journals, ebooks, as well as Scopus as well. So I think for SciDirects, for journals, for Scopus, that is something very similar, familiar by all of you here, that you all need to use that for your research project, for your reading of the literatures, and also for your write-up. Okay, so that's all about my career track. So someone asked me, hey, don't you want to focus your career in just lab-based research? But I think in the life, right, we should try something different. Whether you like it or not, you can always decide it later, right? But there's no harm trying something outside of your comfort zone. So therefore, I took the first step, to step up from the lab and then join the corporate, and eventually where am I now? Okay. And why I make my career, change from wearing a lab coat, teaching students in the academia and research, to a science-related corporate. So first of all, of course, because of the opportunities, there's some just good timing came, and the opening is just right. And, the right person has just approached me, and therefore I took up the challenge and I proceed with that. And second things, I think I would like to seek for the career growth, right? I'm not saying that in academia and research, there's no career growth. You all still can be a lecturer, be a senior lecturer, be an associate professor, and then eventually you progress to a professor. So I see it as a different set of career growth here, right? I'm a person that I cannot sit quietly in one place, that I like to move around, mingle around, interact around. So I think I should be able to fit better in corporate role. And the third one is a passion. Doesn't mean that I don't have passion for research anymore. I still publishing, and I still go to the lab to talk to my friend and to assist them for front applications, to give some of my idea or feedback based on what they wanted from me, right? But again, I think I have a bigger passions to work in corporate, and that's something that difference that I'm chasing for my life. And of course, the interest, right? If you think you have only one interest in your life, you are only wanted to do research, yes, please go ahead. But there are some people, have several interests or have more than one interest that they will chase for trying. And another one is the new learning. So what you get to learn in corporate world and what you get to learn in the lab are totally different. Fellow of flatmates, you are talking to your supervisors, right? And for corporate, probably your networking circle will be wider than what you have used to have in the labs, right? You need to face a different level of customers, different level of clients, different level of key stakeholder, different level of key opinion leaders, right? That is something different, as well as the planning skill, time management skill. As what you all may not know, Elsevier is a very flexible company. Even before MCO, we were allowed to work from home based on our own convenience. That is actually provide me the opportunity to learn better how to manage my time better when you are working from home, and when you were given such a huge flexibility to carry out your role, your responsibility, then you have to learn the skill of the prioritization as well, right? So the thing planning, management, time management, prioritizations, sometimes we have to write and speak tactfully with different level of key stakeholders. So I see this as the great learning opportunity for me after I switched from academia and research into the science-related corporate roles. So of course, I graduated from a universities. Some of my flatmates, they are all having a different career right now. So still quite a number of them are still in research. Some of them are already associate professors, right, doing quite well in their research. Have certain things has been patented, and doing some of the interesting and meaningful studies. Some of them actually took up a second degree in law. They reached law after they graduated, and they are now the patent lawyer. So it's something that outside of lab, but it's still science-related career. Some of them set up their own business, quite a lot of them actually, doing the life sciences consumable supplies. I think you'll be seeing them a lot in your lab when they came to you to explain to their products or whatever. So of course, there are some also in the corporates, like they are in the pharma as the MSL, medical scientific liaison. Some of them as the sales managers, right? Some of them as the technical application specialists, right? And I myself in information analytics company. So different corporate role, but it's still related to science. So this is just to showcase to you your future careers prospect, not just limited to staying in the lab, wearing lab coat, doing experiment, right? There are many more interesting outside of the labs. And I believe that all of you know that the positions that opens for the lecturers, be it in private or be it in public university, are actually limited, right? So if you think that is only your dream careers as being a lecturer in your life, please go ahead and chase for it. But if it is not, and you've thought of looking for the alternative, I think there are many more interesting jobs out there that can, work for you to look for and try. And who knows, you will chase you will get to climb up better and fly higher with other alternative career. So, as I mentioned previously, I'm now in Elsevier. So when everyone sees this logo, everyone is, familiar with this, right? Whenever you publish journals, you always like to submit here, although the rejection rate is high. So let me explain a bit of what am I doing in my current role. So in my current role, I actually have to cover many things. First of all, I'm covering Southeast Asia markets, right? So all the big university and small university or private university of Southeast Asia are actually under my coverage. What am I doing? I need to deliver the non-commercial support to academic institutions, meaning to say I need to provide them some of the scientific support, deliver some trainings to gather the need analysis outcomes from the key stakeholder like the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Research or the research directors, research office directors, deans, or even lecturers, right? So with this analysis that I obtained from them, it will enable for me to design a suitable strategy to help them how to maximize the utilizations of science directs as well as scopers to achieve higher in their research. I also need to strengthen the awareness on their accessing of databases to a proper content, right? I mean, when do you need to use this? When do you need to use journals? When do you need to use review article? When do you need to use the original research articles? When do you need to get the information from the book chapters? When do you need to use scopers? And what is scopers for? And what are different types of research metrics in the scopers like site score, all those kind of things. And I think I still more to go to do the awareness, right? Because especially for the young student like every one of you, or also for the postgraduate student that have just enrolled, it is very important to let them familiarize with different types of databases, different types of the research metrics, so that they can avoid publishing their work in non-genuine journals or predatory journals. And I myself will need to work as a trusted partners for research communities, right? And consistently to understand their needs. Therefore, after you understand their need, you can only perform the effective engagement with them and to design the strategy as well as the program that's suitable for them to help them to achieve higher. And beside that, I will also need to perform the data analysis based on the research output data, based on the usage of the journals, based on the turnover of the journals. All this kind of data, I will need to collect it from my back end, and I would need to do some extensive data analysis. That is something different when you are doing the data analysis with your experimental data as well as the usage data from here. So it's much more extensive that we need to get some insight from the analysis outcome to try to predict, to try to present to our clients what is the trend, what is the upcoming trends, and what will happen in next. All this sort of useful information will be useful for both sides, like for Elsevier to know and also for the research community to understand better as well. So those are all on my major responsibility, right? Or more to say like my job scopes. So no worry, after this, if you all have any question to ask me further, there will be some time to be allocated for you all to do the Q&A. So some people ask me, hey, you say that you wanted to go into corporate, right? It is still important to study science. My answer is yes, a very strong yes. Because you need to apply the science knowledge, the research knowledge to the current role, especially for my role, right? I need to understand the whole research roadmap that I'm showing you here, right? I need to understand how the whole research idea started and how to plan for it, how to design for it, and also the publishings and writings, okay, as well as promoting and tracking. So if you have not gone through a research experience, if you don't have research experience, you have not gone through the whole process, right? It's very, very difficult and challenging for you to understand from your stakeholders, right? I believe all of you have gone through most of it, right? Example, how to gather idea, how to understand the research topics, how to find the research trend. Then after that, you will need to plan for your research, how many papers you want to publish, right? How to find collaborator if certain part that not doable from your side. How to find funding body, FRGS, MOHI, MOSTI, all different sorts of funding source that you will need to look for and you plan for it. And third one, you also need to understand the designing, right? How to find the right references, how to manage the research references. When come to the important part will be writing and publishing. So once we will not know the essence, the insight, and the toughness of writing and publishing if you not have gone through it, you know, or what should you prepare before writing, be it writing the article or thesis, and what are important points in writing, and how should I approach collaborative writings. So publishing even more important. Everyone, you know, fight to publish in order to get graduation certificates, right? How to find the right journals. What are these metrics in the journal? So what should you consider? So before you've gone through this, right, it's very important that you already walk through and experience this step. Therefore, you can only, you know, explain it clearly to the stakeholders. So how, if let's say without scientific knowledge, and then you walk into, you know, some of the key stakeholders, and they were asking your opinions on the, let's say, example, very hot topic on predatory publishings, or they were asking you about what about the publishing ethics. So once you'll not be able to answer it correctly, if you have not gone through that step, I won't say that you will not be able to answer it, but instead of answer it with more insightful information, and those who don't study science will probably just read out based on a script like an FAQ. Okay, so that's why I'm quite confident to say that research knowledge or scientific knowledge is very, very important, and it still play a very big contribution role when you wanted to venture into a science-related corporate, right? So as what my current role requirement, if not mistaken, last time when I saw from the last opening, they required ones with at least research background, published before, did research before, and understand the whole research ecosystem. Okay, so you can see how important is it to have the research knowledge, to have the science knowledge when it comes to certain roles in the job market. So I think it's also important for me to explain the skill set needed for career survival, especially in private corporates. Because I was also interviewed, I participated in the job interview before to screen for candidates. So based on those of my experience, I somehow summarized some of the useful points, which I think I wanted to share with a fellow student here. Perhaps you can make use of it when you are asking for a job, when you are applying for a job, then this probably will make you a little outstanding compared to other job candidates. So the first of all, you need to be independent. Why am I say so? Based on my own experience, right? I'm the only few Elsevier's employees in Malaysia. So my boss, my managers, based on Singapore. So it is very important that you stay independently while you still can deliver the things that you're supposed to be delivered. right? Your boss is not there to coach you very closely, not to monitor you from day to day. We only speak, like for me and my boss, I only speak like every 2 weeks or sometimes every month, right? So the independence is very important. You need to be very independent on this, especially in many MNC, especially the big corporates, right? This is a very important criteria. The second thing is the critical thinking. You need to have a critical thinking skill though, right? You need to think ahead and you need to think outside of the box. We don't need a followers in the role, and we want someone that can actively voice out their own opinions, their own ideas, and therefore we have the knowledge sharing and idea sharings, especially in the corporates. And the third one, problem solving. I always like to ask this, or sometimes I will give a scenario, in when it comes to interviews. I will give them a problem, and then I want to see how and what kind of strategy that they will write out for me or speak out to me in solving these particular problems. Right? I know when you are doing your experiment, you also need to solve problems, right? Therefore, you have a problem statement. But same in the corporate, we also have problem statement to be solved, right? I came across many students actually cannot answer me this nicely, or else they will just stun or not answering anything. So it's very important that you learn from the problem solving skill in the lab and you transform it in the job markets, right? Because you were hired to solve the problems, and you were not hired to be a follower, right? And the fourth one is very important, time management. As what I mentioned to you, most of the MNC, they give you maximum flexibility. And at the same time, they are looking for, how to say, a very timely manner in the job delivery. So they will give you a task and then give you a deadline. They won't care whether you do it every day to get it accomplished, get it achieved, or you just do it last minute, or you just do it in the last 1 or 2 days before the submission date. They leave it totally up to you, right? For you to decide your own time management. And so long you can submit it during the deadline or before the deadline, and they are happy. So giving you a huge flexibility in timing doesn't mean that you can select, you can, select for everything, take things slow. So you cannot take things for advantage. You cannot take things for granted. And flexibility, sometimes when come to this, you will need to be very flexible, need to be very versatile when handling things. You cannot be too calculative, right? Sometimes you probably tends to cover some of the responsibility from your colleague, from your peer, right? It's like helping each other. And for the last one is very important, especially in my role, is the analytical mindset. When you see a data, right, you need to be sensitive enough to tell, or you need to be very vigilant to tell what is next, right? I hope that you will have the same analytical mindset in the lab as well. When you see this result data set, you will know what is next, whether is it presentable, significance or not, whether you need to repeat it or not, or can this be convincing to your peer review, or can be convincing to your examiner or not, right? So most of this actually you can learn from the lab, but the problem is how you actually wanted to translate it and apply in your future job, okay? So I have a career advice here to advising of you here. First of all, when you would like to choose for your future career, right, the first thing that you would probably want to consider will be a lab versus non-lab, right? Whether you think you want to try both first before you deciding the final one, or you think that, oh, I'm bored enough in the lab, I definitely don't want to stay in the lab longer after I graduated. Or some people say, no, I like lab so much and I just wanted to do lab for my entire life. I want to go for my postdoc. I want to learn here and there. I will go for my postdoc in overseas to learn different types of experience. So go ahead. There's no right or wrong, but always think what you want the most in your life, right? Oh, so doesn't mean that, oh, you're wearing lab coat and work in the lab for whole life, for the entire life is wrong. There's no right or wrong here, but major depending on your own interests. Okay. There's something that come to the real life that we really need to think of will be the passion versus survival. As when you really wanted to chase for your career in academia, and yet the head count or the openings are actually very limited in the markets, right? So there will be a balance in between for you to weigh which way you want to go after you weighing out the pro and cons, the benefits and the disadvantages of it, right? Sometimes you are very passionate, but the real life is that is limited openings. So that is really come to the T junctions that whether you want to turn left or turn right. So think carefully based on this. And the third one will be the interest. What interested you the most? I mean, what is your main interest? If you think without doing lab work, you will lose a part of your life and your life wouldn't be colorful anymore, then yeah, that would to put it as one of your consideration factors. And the fourth one, opportunities. Sometimes the opportunity don't come to you that often, right? When you miss it, you miss it. When the right opportunity came to you, just grab it, and then no harm trying, right? That is not end of the world if you chosen the wrong opportunity, and just expand your view. The world is large and huge. There's many more things for us to try it out, right? And the next one will be exposure. Some people say that I have enough exposure in the corporate. I wanted to return to academia. It happened. I saw some of them are even engineer, right? Or some of them tired with the corporate life. They want to have to try or to return to academic, right? It happened as well. So it depends on what or which type of exposure you wanted in your life. So I cannot guarantee myself one day I may return back to the lab or return back to university, right? I may not know in futures, but it's no harm to expose to different types of working environments. And then the last one is the chance versus the choice, right? So based on this, I hope that you all really that can think better and consider better in your future job opportunities. So before I end this, I would like to open for the Q&A, right? Any one of you that actually having a questions that you all feel free to ask me now. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Benny. A very informative and interesting talk. If any one of you have any questions to Dr. Benny, please just turn on your microphone and you can just voice your questions to Dr. Benny.
Don't be shy. Come on. Let's be an interactive sessions, right? I'm not a lecturer here, so just ask me anything that you think you wish to know.
Anyone? Okay, never mind. Let me start. Thank you very much, Dr. Benny. When I look through your presentations, I noticed that once you step into the corporate world, you develop a different skill set. Like you say, you probably have developed some basic, like techniques and skills in the lab, and you try to translate them into practical use in the corporate world. But I also noticed you develop a very different skill set along your way. For example, those communication skills, those risk assessment skills, those problem-solving skills more towards corporate way of dealing with problems instead of like the way we handle problem in the lab. So do you attend courses to acquire those skills, or do you develop those skills when you were faced with different problems, along the way?
So interesting questions. Yeah, I can share with you how actually all this developed along my way based on my own experience. First of all, the coaching from the manager very important. So whenever you have problems that always come to you, that you is very important to look for your manager, your reporting line manager for discussions. He or she may be experienced in coaching you along the way. What is next to develop this skill? And second of it, in Elsevier, we have a series of the courses and also the talks that we are optional to attend, and some are compulsory to attend, right? That initiated by our HR, right? And then the third one, you have to learn and develop along the way when you work in real life, right? Sometimes, it's not easy when you first to step out from the lab, and the next person that you need to meet is the deputy vice chancellor or vice chancellor, or even the deputy secretary general or deputies directors or directors in the KPT, right? But that kind of communication skills are actually learning along the way when you step into that scenario and that situation. And of course, your manager will be there to coach you until you are confident, right? So it's actually like a both two ways learning. You need to put in your own initiative to learn, and also a good coaching are very important.
I see. So it's still back to what we have been looking into, or what we have been seeking within our students this day, which is a very effective communication skills, right? So from all directions, whether a person is communicating with the superior or with the downline, so a very effective communication skills definitely helps a lot, right?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes, right, when you have I think examples like you are lecturers, you have a lot of knowledge, and it also requires certain skill for you to deliver to students. So same things happen in corporate. How you want to deliver that presentations to convince the audience. So that is always important in corporate.
I see.
Yeah.
So any more questions from the floor? Any students want to ask anything to Dr. Benny?
Hi, Doctor.
Hi.
Miza here.
Hi, Miza.
Right. I have a question regarding the changing a career path. How
Mm-hmm.
to be confident enough to change from what we are very comfortable with to another one? Like how to console ourselves if we are not fit to another career after that. Like that.
You mean how? Sorry, I don't get you that questions. So can I just assume that you wanted to ask how comfortable? I mean, how you want to move yourself from a comfort zone to another new challenge?
Yes, exactly.
So first of all, as I mentioned, what you want in life. Sometimes, right? The challenge comes with prices. So if you can overcome the challenge, you get higher prices. Or in another word, you get higher pay, right? So depending what you want in your life. I'm the person that I just don't like to stay in office 8 to 5, right? So I know that the future job that I wanted to look for, it has to be a very flexible job, and to let me move around, to let me carry out my responsibility without sitting in the office 8 to 5, right? So, but things has changed now ever since MCO. So most of my time have to sit in the room to face the laptop. But during the time without MCO, I'm going around very actively to the university to see the students, to see the lecturers, to see the dean, to see the deputy vice chancellor, all sort of stakeholders. So is this something that you want in your life? And that is very important. Don't force yourself to do something that you don't like.
Okay,
Okay,
doctor. Thank you.
thanks.
Dr. Benny, adding to Miza's questions, do you think it's very much related to what you just shared with us in one of the slides, which is it's okay to make a not so accurate decisions in the beginning, and you try to probably improve or probably correct along the way. Is that very much related to that concept?
Actually, I will say yes, because some people, I'll give you one scenario, right? I have several friends that they graduated with PhD, they couldn't look for the academic opening, means as the lecturers. So they would actually apply into pharma companies, apply into the life sciences company, either as sales or support. So initially they might feel uncomfortable, right? Because it's not something that they used to do in past for the past few years than when they were in the lab. But along the way, when they start learning, they adapted well, right? They are fine. But also, there were some few cases that they actually returned to university when the opportunity hits them, right? So it's very subjective things. Depends on the individual as well, how they see things,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, I see there are probably a few factors that would affect the decisions that a person make at that moment, right? So
Yes,
yeah, so I have a very I asked this question out of curiosity, Dr. Benny.
right.
As you mentioned, like sometimes challenges come with rewards, right?
Mhm.
So rewards as in you probably get a better salary or better pay, right? When you
Mhm.
switch from one job to another. So beside your personal interests, like you say, you just don't like to work like stagnantly, from 8 to 5, things like that. So do you think any practical reasons that makes you considering to switch your career path from academia or from a researcher to a corporate member?
I think another factors that why am I switching my career path is that I don't like the routine work, right? So from teaching one syllabus to another and then repeating another one in the following semesters, then setting the question all over again, mark questions. So that is something a very routine job for me, which I don't think I like in my life.
See,
Yes.
um, how about the prospects, the opportunity that is offered by the corporate. So probably you see, in terms of future developments, future progress, you sort of see that is wider in the corporate world compared to the academia. Did you see that when you first switched from academia to the corporate?
Actually, both I see the space for them to progress. As let's
Mhm.
say, so long you progress well, you did good research, and then you teach well, you will be promoted to promote or associate professor and professors. What I would like to say would be the opening, the
Mm,
job opportunities rather than the space for them to
I
progress.
see. Mm-mm.
Yes,
Right.
because I've seen, in pharma company, there are many openings right now for
Mhm.
medical scientific liaisons, right?
Mhm.
So it's very depending on the graduates wanted to apply it or not.
I see, I see. So that is a very important information to all students here. Um,
Mhm.
I will also share this recording with the other students who were not able to attend this morning sessions, because this is a very important information for them, which many pharmaceutical companies are looking for candidates to join them, right?
Yeah, that's what I see now. Novartis looking for Takeda,
Mm-mm.
Pfizer also.
Oh,
Uh,
that's good.
yeah, many. I have heard many of my friends actually planning to change
Mm.
from life sciences to pharma, right? So a few days ago, they were just contacted me to ask for more information on this or how to, to handle the interview with the MNC. right? Especially MNC, right? The interview would not be anyhow easy. Examples, last time I went through 10 rounds of interviews, right? So it took me a month.
I see.
Yeah, so different types of the skill set examinations, presentation skill, or different types of interviews.
I see.
Doctor, may I know how we be different when we interview with that company?
What do you mean by the difference of the company? You mean by the local company and MNC, is it?
No, I mean how we want to be different to with others. How we want to add point to ourselves. Uh,
Like how do you want to stand out?
All right.
yeah.
So, in order to make yourself outstanding, right, compete against those other job candidates, first of all, communication skill. And second thing is the problem solving skill, as what I mentioned just now. Most of the interview I've seen, right, they always give you some scenario or they give you some problem for you to solve. And then you have to present to them how you want to solve it. You have to keep up a strategy.
Right. Is that something that is given
So,
or you were given time to prepare beforehand?
Different company have different policy. For last time, I can share with my experience. I was given a week to prepare, ample of time. Yeah, but that is something that you cannot find from textbook, though. You see, yes. So that is a skill set that really required in private corporate.
I can see that. Like as what you shared in your slide, right? So I see those are really I would say soft skills which you do not develop from the textbook, but you really some of them we could develop them in the lab. But like you said, how we translate these skills into practical use, that is another skill set. You know, in order to translate the skills from
I give you an example, yeah.
Sorry?
Let's say I give you an example.
Okay.
Last time when I was doing my PhD, my supervisor was short of fund. So would that be a problem already, isn't it, Dr. Yap?
Yeah.
So as the student, how you want to help your supervisor to solve their problems? So that time probably you can develop your skill on how to solve problems. First, look for collaborator that have money. Second, how you want to convince the collaborator to give you money.
That's
The third one, how you want to negotiate the outcome sharing, the benefit sharing. So that also another skills and another opportunity for you to develop your skill set. Right. So that is very important. So I would advise all of you here to learn as many as you can in the lab and not just sitting there to do experiment to do the test. There are many things, you know. Let's say the lab shut down, contaminated. So what is next? Right? How you want to solve the problem? What is next? You cannot everything go back to hi prof, this. How, right? So you have to, you know, be outstanding a bit to try to stand out, to propose you think the strategy that is good enough to overcome this crisis.
I see. Right. So thank you, Dr. Benny, for the Q&A. So any more questions from the students?
Don't be shy.
Yeah. So this is one of those opportunity that you will never get back again. It's not easy to get people from the corporate to give us a talk. You know, sometimes given that their schedule probably are very hectic. So if you have any questions, please just turn on your microphone and ask it to Dr. Benny.
Or even though if you are shy to ask, you can always type in the chat box.
Sure. Oh yeah. Let me see if there is any question in the chat box. Okay. So right. So this is so out of my curiosity, Dr. Benny. This is probably more towards academia or academic research. Since you are involved in the development of different institute in Southeast Asia, right? So I believe you have seen how different institute in different regions have progressed from the time you joined up till now. So How do you think Malaysia has been doing so far?
I think Malaysia's research needs more improvements, and they need to jump out from the comfort zone.
Like, what do you mean by comfort zone?
They need to do the studies that actually can solve the problems. So I think most of us been talking here about SDGs, right? I'm not sure whether the student is familiar with the Sustainable Development Goals set by the UN,
Yeah.
United Nations. So I mean, your research outcome must carry certain societal impact. Right. So instead of doing something for KPI purposes, so would that be possible for you to do something that is impactful that can solve the problems?
You're right.
Yeah.
So, which country besides Singapore? We definitely know Singapore is doing way better than the other, and they are always ahead of the others in Southeast Asia. So, besides Singapore, let's say Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, and Malaysia. So, are we doing better than these other nations, or we are comparably, like equally good as them?
To be honest, to see how you which aspect you want to see. So when you want to see the numbers, right, the publication numbers of Indonesian is way higher than Malaysia since last year.
I see.
Yes, but when in terms of the citation counts and the citation impact may not be there yet.
I see.
But when you say impact, right? Example, Thailand, they already have their vaccine of COVID vaccine entering a phase 1 clinical trial anytime soon. Right. So to see which aspect you want to look at the numbers or to look at the impact. So different countries have their own strength, right? I mean, it's all depending on which aspect you want to see. If you want to see the numbers, Indonesia is better, way higher than Malaysia. And when you want to see impact, I don't think we have any COVID vaccine yet, as what I have not heard till now. But Thailand already have one, and last 3 months they were already tested in monkey, and now they are ready to go into phase 1 clinical human trial already.
I see.
Yeah. Yes.
That is something very interesting to know. So, any more questions from the floor? Right, just housekeeping note. Dato helps to share a link where you can fill up for attendance. So please click on that link in the chat and fill up the attendance sheet, please. So that is very important for us as well. Thank you very much, everyone.
And Dr. Yap, may I request your help to let them fill up the online survey for me?
Sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Shai, I'm sorry, the student said she can't fill in the form because permission is needed. Can you please unlock that part? Dr. Benny, yes, please go ahead, share. Please go ahead, share.
Hold on, yeah. I think I better share the link because I cannot share the slide again. It's not appearing yet. So I will share the link in the chat box now.
Okay.
Okay, so I already posted a link. So be very helpful if you could help me to fill in a survey just to take 3 to 5 minutes of your times. Right.
This is the one that I'm sharing is the attendance list. So you can just log in and I don't think you need to log in. Just click on the link and then you can fill up the attendance form. And don't forget Dr. Benny's survey form. Please help him to fill up because I think that is important for Elsevier to know how we like the sessions with Dr. Benny. So thank you very much, Dr. Benny, for the very informative and very generous sharing with all of us this morning. I think I totally like your tagline that you have for this morning session, which is translate what you learn in the lab into practical use in whether you're joining the corporates or the non-corporate fields. Because those skills will eventually help a person to progress and develop further. And I believe if all of us could really do that, then we will definitely benefited from what we have been learning all this while. Right. So,
Yeah.
so anything else from you, Dr. Benny, that you probably want to share with the students? Some advice.
I think there's one final advice from me. Don't just limit yourself in one choice. Try to open up, and there are many interesting, things or job or opportunity out there. So just go ahead and try it. Right, you're still young.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
Right. So, I hope everyone is filling up the survey and also the attendance form. Yeah.
So again, I would like to convey my thanks to Dr. Yap for so kindly to invite me over to these sessions. Yep, thank you very much for all the opportunities. Yep, I appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Benny. Dr. Benny, do you, or I would just probably will just, for those who have completed the survey and the form in
Mhm.
the room, for those who haven't, then you probably can just stay back and fill out the form and the survey form and the attendance sheets, right? Again, thank you very much, everyone, especially to Dr. Benny for the kind and generous sharing sessions with all of it this morning. And also, thank you to every students, to everyone's who have spent their morning with us. And I hope you benefit from this morning's sharing session with Dr. Benny. Right? Thank you very much, everyone, and hope to see all of you again. And please stay safe and healthy. Thanks, Dr. Benny.
Thank you, everyone. Stay safe. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome, everyone.